Last spring, my then 77-year-old father was sitting in a Chipotle eating a meal when an SUV crashed through the window. When I learned that he'd been taken to the hospital, while I was relieved to hear that his injuries were not life-threatening, I knew that he faced challenges ahead. Immobilization after the accident led to weakness, and then difficulty walking again, because he lacked the strength to stand and had no person or equipment that could safely support him. While the circumstances of my father's accident were certainly unique, the situation he found himself in was unfortunately far too common. Over 13 million older adults are hospitalized in the US every year. They can lose up to 11% of their muscle strength in just one day of bed rest, and 2 out of 3 leave the hospital with a new challenge of daily living, like walking. Walking rehabilitation for these patients is very challenging because healthcare facilities and carers fear falls and injury to healthcare providers. The irony in my father's situation is that he, a neurologist who'd worked with patients with gait and balance problems, was already developing a radically new walking assist device. The Gravitrex is a walking assist device that supports part of a user's body weight, making walking safer and easier. How does it work? On the right, we see a person walking independently. The red arrows represent the forces of gravity on the knee joints and the legs. On the left, we see a person using the Gravitrex. They first step into a harness that's connected to a rolling walker frame by 2 cables. What's truly innovative is what we do not see. Inside the panels on the side is a mechanical system which generates a lifting force on the cables, supporting part of the person's weight as they practice upright walking, making it easier and safer to learn to walk again. The blue arrows represent the forces of gravity felt by the user. Over time, the therapist can reduce the amount of lifting force so the person can gradually return to walking independently. Gravitrex works like no other. Competitive devices use a motor. This innovative technology in the Gravitrex is able to consistently offload weight during the dynamic movement of walking with no battery and no power, something which is technically very difficult to do. Our beachhead market is U.S. post-acute care rehabilitation facilities, and the business model is selling hardware devices B2B2C. The customer is the healthcare facility and will sell via rehabilitation therapy provider companies. Gravitrex provides a significant value proposition due to 3 key aspects. 1, revenue increase due to higher billing CPT codes for standing activities. 2, improved satisfaction scores due to better patient outcomes. And 3, reduced cost of injury due to patient falls and staff worker compensation claims. Once we establish adoption in facilities, we'll expand with our lightweight foldable version to home-based therapy, increasing the total number of patients receiving services. We've spoken with more than 150 target stakeholders who confirm product market fit. We expect to disrupt a large and growing market. The total global physical therapy market is projected at $181 billion, of which $31 billion is rehabilitation equipment and devices. In the US alone, we have a path to surpass $1 billion in revenue. This is based on a bottom-up analysis with an assumption of 20% penetration of 58,000 projected rehab centers. And the assumptions in our model are based on interviews with multiple executives in rehabilitation therapy companies. There are other devices which support part of a person's weight. They're typically an overhead harness attached to something fixed, like a ceiling tract or a treadmill. They're not transportable, they're highly complex, and they are expensive. The devices shown here cost up to $250,000. Thus, they're limited to specialized rehabilitation facilities and are used by a privileged fraction of those who could benefit. We have multiple issued patents, and our patent protection has been extended globally in key strategic markets, and we've completed regulatory due diligence with an expert consultancy. We have strong momentum towards driving adoption. We've developed a functional prototype which we've tested in human volunteers. The next steps are to validate the prototype in an IRB-approved research study and incorporate engineering enhancements identified in customer discovery and prepare for the launch of our base model. Among our achievements, Gravitrex is proud to have been awarded Most Innovative Rehabilitation Technology from the American Congress of Rehabilitation Medicine and selected as a finalist for the NIA Startup Challenge. In Q1 2024, we plan to apply for Arizona State R&D grants to fund engineering enhancements, and in Q2, an SBIR. To support equitable implementation, will study use across diverse patient populations. We would benefit enormously from winning the NIA Startup Challenge Prize, as it would allow us to fund the preliminary data that would serve as the base of support for these grant proposals. Our go-to-market plan is to utilize clinical data to launch into 3 to 5 leading inpatient rehabilitation centers. Use among key thought leaders will support credibility and help drive adoption. We'll generate awareness through a small, specialized sales force for scientific communication and participate in key conferences. Our team brings a powerhouse of relevant experience. I, Kira Burns, am the CEO and have more than 15 years of broad commercial experience in healthcare, much of it at Abbott, working on products for patients with frailty. Dr. Richard Burns is an NIH-trained neurologist who has practiced and done research at premier institutions like Vanderbilt and the Cleveland Clinic. Andrew Burns is an experienced product designer and fabricator. Kate Goosen, our expert fractional CFO. Suzanne O'Neill, our clinical liaison. And Marlon Veenstra heads up graphic design. We have advisors who bring clinical experience, rehab tech engineering, medical device manufacturing, and marketing expertise. We use external experts for engineering, legal, and regulatory work. To further strengthen our team, we intend to bring in a leader with rehabilitation facility administration experience. We're in the process of building our scientific advisory board and our patient advisory board to reflect the voices and perspectives of the people who will use our products directly. Gravitrex, due to its unique technology, can improve access to an evidence-based intervention due to lower cost and transportability. 90% of adults want to age in place in their homes, and successful aging in place honors older adults' preferences. In this paradigm, Gravitrex can go where others cannot. It empowers mobility recovery for older adults where and when they choose. We appreciate your support in helping make independent mobility more accessible to everyone.